save the animals. Right now, the reason I'm here today is number one, I'm a Texan. Me and my husband used to be cattle ranchers in Angleton, Texas. We turned what was once a beef cattle ranch into a vegan farm sanctuary. Now what we did not know is that we were going to have a ripple into the consciousness of the world. We did not know that when ranchers go vegan in Texas, that it was going to actually shake some shit up. You know, but that's exactly what has happened. Our transition from killing animals to saving animals is making a tremendous voice. It's beginning to speak out for other farmers, other ranchers are also contacting us. That's a big deal. You know, a few years ago when all this started happening, I had no idea that people were going to start contacting me and say, Renee, we are cattle ranchers and we don't know what to do about this. Could somebody get me some water, please? Just some water, be great. We don't know what we're going to do about this. Yeah, and so when these ranchers or animal farmers would contact us, I would just start talking to them. I would start having conversations with them, not putting them down, not saying to them, you know, you need to stop killing animals right now because y'all, animal farmers and cattle ranchers are doing what they've been taught to do all their lives. They've been taught that feeding the population with cows, with chickens, with sheep, with goats is normal. Normalized violence has become a thing, not only in Texas, but in our world. It has become normal to commodify, to kill, to enslave, to cut up, to dice up, to mince living, sentient beings. It has become normal for cattle ranchers to believe that they're doing the right thing. They don't know they're not doing the right thing. They really don't. I remember when I first started having an awakening at our cattle ranch in Angleton. Rowdy girl, even though I am a little rowdy, Rowdy girl is a cow. Rowdy girl is still alive. When I got Rowdy girl, I bought her for $300. This was about 9 or 10 years ago. And Rowdy girl began to change my life. Little did I know that she was going to be my vegan advocate. Rowdy girl herself began to minister to me. When I would feed her, I had to bottle feed her because I was told she had no mama. Well, guess what? Most baby calves never have the chance to have a mama because humans have to suck on the tit of a cow, you know, and call it nutrition. That's BS, right? Right. Woo! Yes. So when I started feeding Rowdy girl, bottle feeding her twice a day, I never have had the experience of being a mother myself. So what happened was I began to have these feelings inside as if I was actually being a mom to a cow. That may sound crazy to you, but and being a cattle rancher's wife at the time, it was something I could hardly talk about. But I started feeling all this love and all this affection for this baby calf named Rowdy girl. And it's very hard for me to tell this story without tearing up and crying because Rowdy girl should have been slaughtered. Her kids, Houdini, Stella, Magic, they all should have been slaughtered. But I started waking up when I was feeding this baby. And when I was feeding her, I began to see and feel all of the animals in the field that were having, all the families of cows I started realizing that they were there for their own reasons. Nobody told me this. I didn't have any vegan advocates screaming at me and telling me to go vegan. Rowdy Girl was telling me, Renee, watch, observe. And when I was feeding Rowdy Girl, I began to watch and observe the other cows in the field, the mothers that we were enslaving. Cow-calf operations enslave mothers that have babies over and over again that are sold to sale barns so that those sale barns can then take those babies to feedlots to fatten them up for slaughter. That's the kind of operation we have. Those operations look so pastoral from the highway. You know, when you drive along a highway, you see these cows, you know, along a pasture. It looks so sweet and innocent. But let me tell you, behind that is nothing but violence. It's oppression. It's death. And I began to see when I was feeding Rowdy Girl that these animals wanted to live. They had their communities. Tippy was the babysitter. I remember watching, I couldn't believe it, I had to shake my head when I began to watch Tippy go to the mama cows so the mama cows could go off and, you know, graze, get some water or whatever, and Tippy would be there with the babies while the mamas would go and eat. Y'all, you're not supposed to slaughter these animals. You know, we've got to start speaking out. I know that most people here are vegan. Is there anybody here not vegan today?
Hell yeah.
Huh?
Absolutely.
You're not vegan?
Ex-vegan.
Ex-vegan. Well, you're here. And we used to be a cattle ranch. And what's interesting, ex-vegan, is that if you are going to be vegan in this world, do it for the animals. If you do it for the animals, you'll never be an ex-vegan. I promise you, if you go vegan for the animals, you will never look back. There's no problem. You know, you can go vegan for health. You can go vegan for the environment. But the statistics are this. You might go back. But once you do it for the animals, hey, if I was on a remote island somewhere in the middle of the freaking, you know, ocean somewhere, you know what I'd eat? What the rabbits eat. You know, I would eat what the rabbits eat. I would never make a decision to eat an animal because I was hungry unless it was the last thing on this earth. And even then, I'd probably just go ahead and expire. The thought of eating another living sentient being goes against every nerve in me now. The fact that we used to do that just sickens me. It sickens me that we used to think that was normal. In today's society, it's so important for all of you to use your voice for these animals, to use your talents, to use your skills, whatever you are able to do, whatever talents, whatever creativity, whatever it is, use it for the animals. Please, they are dying 3,000 every second. 3,000 animals a second die for what? For what purpose? Other than to, it isn't to feed the damn hungry. The cows are eating the food that all the hungry people around the world should be eating. The cows are eating that food. We are feeding the cows all the food, the chickens, the pigs, the goats, and the horses. You know, and you know, humans cannot get enough of violence. And the thing is, there will absolutely be no peace on earth until there is peace on our plate. I know that sounds cliche, but I believe with everything in me that until we stop toting guns and killing animals, we will not have any peace. Right? Woo! Exactly. And so We need to start normalizing compassion. Compassion needs to be normal. You know, people ask me all the time, Renee, how do you do this? I'm like, I just get up and I do this. You know, I meditate. I stay focused on the good things in the world. If I focus too much on all the bad shit that's happening, excuse my French, I know I speak French. But I know that whenever, I focus on all of the horrible things that are going on in the world, I sink. But as long as I'm staying focused on the fact that we do have what's in us to create liberation and peace on earth. In the beginning, according to the Word of God, the Bible, I was raised Christian. Do I call myself a Christian today? Well, let me tell you, I believe the way Jesus believed. I believe the way the Buddhists believed. Jesus didn't call himself a Christian, by the way. Humans made up that term. I don't believe for a minute that God ever intended a world where people were going to eat animals. In the beginning, the Garden of Eden had no slaughterhouses. Nobody was eating animals according to God's word in the beginning. And there will be no slaughterhouses in heaven, if there is one. If there's a heaven, I know for a fact that God ain't going to be killing animals up there. So why do we kill them down here? Why do we do that? For one reason only: greed, profit, power, tradition, culture. The only reason. We've got to give the land back to the animals. In our rancher advocacy program, we have 3 farmers right now that are in our program. We have one who is a former chicken rancher, a chicken farmer, and a cattle rancher. We've saved 240 cows in Arkansas. The rancher advocacy program. 240. That blows my mind. This farmer, Jennifer and Rodney Barrett, was in the chicken poultry business for 20 years. They were tied to companies like Tyson, Purdue, Pilgrim. They were enslaved, endangered, or whatever you call it, servants to these companies. They have 4 20,000 square foot former chicken sheds that we are going to revamp and refurbish into a mushroom farm, y'all. Woo! I'm amazed that the people that work with us at Rowdy Girl Sanctuary and the Rancher Advocacy Program are so committed to change. We have such a force of people around us helping us to create this world. Celeste, right there, is my assistant. Raise your hand, Celeste. Celeste works with me every single day, and even on weekends and after hours, she makes herself available. Because let me tell you, working with a person like me that's committed to ending animal abuse and the violence, it's kind of tough sometimes. I want this done now. This ain't just a chant to me. I want to see this end now, and I mean it. And I will do anything in my power, anything in my resources, anything to make that happen. And I don't see that it's too far away. When we can end slavery, it can happen for the animals. When we can see women's rights become real, we can do it for the animals. Right? When we can see, the fact that it used to be abnormal for people that were gay to have a husband or a wife of the same sex. If we can see that normal today, then we can normalize compassion for these animals, right? We put one foot in front of the other to walk 1,000 miles. One foot in front of the other, and never stop walking. Never stop talking. Y'all please subscribe to Rowdy Girl Sanctuary. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on YouTube. Please stay connected with us. Private message me. I'm very accessible. You can have my cell phone. I am so easy to get a hold of. I am not that person that a lot of people like to think I'm some celebrity and whatever. I am so normal. just reach out to me. Just talk to me. I am always here for you. Peace.
Woo!